GPVWC 2020 is go!
Hello everyone and welcome back to GPVWC Superleague Lights for the final time in 2020, and we have a championship fight for you today. Of course, the Drivers and Teams Championships have already been decided, but for second place, Michael Francesconi and Colin Spork are dead even on points, so this is going to be fantastic. The venue for this showdown is going to be the Autódromo José Carlos Pazda, which of course has been the venue for many exciting championship fight in history. Cast your mind back to 2007, 2008 in Formula One, and also the last few seasons of GPVWC have seen a few as well. So yeah, it's I couldn't really think of a better place to hold this fight, and I'm sure that it is going to be one to look forward to. We're currently in qualifying. We have just started qualifying, I believe, and this is going to be a 15-minute session to determine which order the drivers are going to be starting in for this race, which is going to be about 75 to 80% of a full Super League Grand Prix. So I can't see who's out on track just yet. Sorry, I'm having a couple of issues joining the server, but I'll be on in a second. But yeah, just to remind you of where we are in this championship so far. Liam Duval, of course, has already wrapped up the Drivers' Championship, easy peasy, 10 wins straight. It was quite an incredible showing from him at the start of the season. He was absolutely unstoppable, and try as they might, no one could top him at all. Also, Cenobite, his team, they weren't far behind. They actually wrapped up the championship just a couple of races later, and that was the team's standings wrapped up as well. In terms of the Drivers' Championship, Michael Francesconi and Colin Spork are dead even for second position, equal on points. So it is effectively going to be whoever finishes ahead out of the two of them will win. And if neither of them score, then I believe it will be. Actually, let me work this out, because they both have an equal number of wins, second places, and third places. That's quite something. So here's more for. Well, no. Okay, so Colin Spork with his fifth place at the German Grand Prix would finish ahead if neither of them were to score a point today. Also, not contending with them in the championship, but fighting amongst themselves for position. Sandeep Singh is currently fourth in the championship, still looking for his first and only win of the season. Same can be said for Dino Paolini. Thomas Schwark is sixth in the championship, and it's Dawood Tapper, Jack Mayer, Leon Bock, who only made 4 rounds, which is a shame because I think he could have been a real contender for the championship. And then Jukka-Pekka Lalu rounds out the top 10 in the standings. And the teams you've got to look out for: Cenobite, of course, have already wrapped it up. So the top real fight in the Teams Championship is CM Tech Racing versus TG Racing Esports, and then you have Powered by RSR fourth in that championship, and Mayor Darnold Racing Team MDR are fifth. And In terms of the development of the cars and the packages, it's quite similar to the Teams Championship. Actually, Cenobite come in with the most investment points put in. They have 431. And one of the only teams to have upgraded rear wing downforce as well as pit repair rate. CM Tech are the second most upgraded car, and of course the least most upgraded car is Mars 1, which hasn't had any upgrades given to it for a very long time, and that is because there are no Mars 1 cars actually here today. So anyway, 26 cars here. And qualifying is 4 minutes in already. So let's have a look at the order as it stands. Alessandro Quinte, who recently wrapped up the Super League Championship, or yesterday wrapped up the Super League Championship actually, is at the top of the order. Sorry, what was that? Super Cup, yeah, sorry, I meant Super Cup. Did I say Super League? I didn't mean that, I meant Super Cup. Thanks to my cameraman and streamer, Gerrit de Vries, for pointing that out. It's very close to the top of the order so far, though. Quinte, the Super Cup champion, just 0.06 of a second ahead of Colin Spork, who's second, and he himself is only 0.01 of a second ahead of Matthew Williams. You don't get much closer than that. The top three separated by 0.07 of a second. Goodness me. The top four separated by just the 1/10 of a second. Look at that, with Giuseppe Lino right up there with them. Any of those guys could take pole here today. Dari Tapper is currently 5th. Where's Francesconi is currently down in 11th place, so he actually hasn't been doing that well yet. And I don't know whether he just is taking a little while to get up to speed, but we'll see. This is an interesting order actually, because before the race I was speaking to Colin Spork, and he said that he wasn't expecting qualifying to go very well for him, especially since he doesn't actually have a teammate here today. It's just him in the Cenobite team, so that means he's not going to have any support, any slipstream, and and also he said he wasn't feeling particularly quick here anyway, so he was expecting Francesconi to out-qualify him, but from what we've seen so far, maybe that's not going to be the case. Admittedly, it is still very early in the qualifying session, so yeah, still plenty of time for things to change, but we shall see. I wonder if any of these drivers around here are about to start a flying lap that we can watch. Giuseppe Lino, I think, is about to begin one. Let's watch this and show you around the São Paulo circuit. Here's the Senna S, turns 1 and 2, flicks downhill. Unfortunately, we've seen starting accidents in both Formula Challenge and Super Cup there. So hopefully they all get through that clean. I know because I was involved in the Formula Challenge one. Through turn 4, Curva do Sol, I believe, and then up the hill towards Ferradura, one of my favourite corners on the track. It's double apex, you've got a big amount of curb on the outside to play with. You're allowed to use the full thing, it's great. Down into the sequence of hairpin. Oh, one of the Fusion cars just spun in front of Lino there. That may have cost him a couple of 1/10 of a second. Oh, and Lino himself has just had a spin through Magulo, so that will be his lap abandoned. But anyway, that's pretty much all of the lap that you saw there. The only parts that you missed after that, you head up the hill, and it's completely flat out from there, because the final couple of corners really aren't corners at all, and then you slipstream your way to the line if you have slipstream, and set your time. So that would have been an abandoned time there from Giuseppe Lino, understandably so. An update on the session, Francesconi has now set a representative lap time. He's gone second, so it's Williams first now, so Williams has got even quicker, and Francesconi second is 0.230 behind him. The time to beat so far is a 108.023 from Matthew Williams. In terms of times, the São Paulo circuit is one of the shortest circuits on the calendar. Of course, in terms of distance, that would be Monaco, even though we don't race at Monaco. So I suppose this would be the shortest in terms of distance. Sorry, I'm speaking rubbish. I don't know what's shorter out of this and the Red Bull Ring. But anyway, and talking of that, we apparently don't go to the Red Bull Ring either, so I really am speaking rubbish. Okay, this is the shortest second on the calendar. Completely ignore everything else I said, because I was waffling. But anyway, and you can tell that because of the times. Just 1 minute and 8 seconds if you do it right, and you know, really in the race, you know. The maximum we're going to be seeing is 115s. It's going to be under that for the majority of the race. 110s, possibly 109s if you're on soft tires. So yeah, very short track. It means they get more opportunities to set qualifying laps, and it also means that traffic might come into play a bit more later on. So we'll keep an eye on that. Let's see what Dari Tapper can do with this lap as he crosses the line. Ooh, I think there was a slight improvement. Yes, there was. He took a couple of hundredths of a second of his time, but didn't really jump up the order that much. Tapper in 7th position. Now, I would like to point out we actually have Drake cars here today. I think that Drake were missing from the last few events. Indeed, they were. So good to see them back with Ben Willis and Stefan McCready. We do have 4 cars missing. I'm not sure who they actually are. I know that one of them is the second Cenobike car, and we're also missing 2 Maris 1 cars, but I'm struggling to pick up on what the other missing car is. But anyway, I'll be sure to point that out if I actually notice it at all. But oh, is it the second Royal Blue? No, Royal Blue. I have both of their cars here, so never mind. Anyway, the qualifying session continues. Colin Spork has just improved, I think, his time. Nope, not quite improved. I think that was an outlap actually. Francesconi, meanwhile, fastest of anyone in the first sector. Purple sector time if you're looking at the live timing. And that means that that's the fastest we've seen anyone go so far. Let's see what he can do through the second sector. There's the split. The third sector is pretty much completely flat out, so that's down to straight line speed pretty much. It's a pretty quick second sector as well, so I'm expecting this to be provisional pole from Michael Francesconi. Let's see what the actual time is as he crosses the line. Here we go, DRS wide open. Oh, it's not. He's actually, well, he's taken time out, but he's still pretty much 0.2 of a second behind Matthew Williams. So his third sector actually not as quick, and that points to maybe a lack of straight line speed. Or maybe Williams got a decent slipstream from someone, because I don't think that Francesconi was slipstreaming anyone there. Francesconi's teammate is Giuseppe Lino, and he's currently in the pits, so yeah, never mind. Colin Sport jumps up to second, goes ahead of Francesconi, so that's important in the championship fight. I said recently that he'd started a lap, and actually his final sector is very quick, so if that's indicative of anything, it's that Francesconi and Spork are going for different strategies set up ways, but we'll see. Sandeep Singh goes 4th, also fastest third sector time of anyone from Jukka-Pekka Lalu, but he only goes 13th. So Lalu obviously very fast in a straight line, not so fast with a twistier bit, so we'll need to get that under control if he's going to jump higher up the order. So, just 4 minutes to go, well 3.5 minutes to go more like, until we see the checkered flag hit. It's Williams, Spork, Francesconi, Singh and Quinte, the top 5 in qualifying so far. Great performance from Quinte. He was strong yesterday, and he is proving just as strong today. Had a big twitch as I was looking at him there. And he is driving the second TCS Off Esports car. Of course, last time out that was driven and unfortunately crashed by Josh Downard, and he will be teammates with Jack Mayer, who of course is the one of the team bosses of the Mayer Downard racing team, along with, of course, Josh Downard. I think he was trying to give Quinte a slipstream there and slightly misjudged it, because he didn't end up getting it, but anyway. Back to the timings, I can see that Quinte has... Well, I don't think he did improve with that lap, no, he just missed out. Missed out by just over a tenth actually, so obviously didn't quite get it right there. I think the lack of slipstream would have hurt him a little bit. So he stays 5th in the order for the time being. Now this is the point in the session where the drivers are setting up for their final qualifying runs, the runs that are really going to matter Colin Spork has just been back into the pits, and he is exiting the pits now. Well, actually, just braked on pit exit and went back. You are allowed to do that so long as you don't actually exit the pits and go past the pit lane speed limiter off point. You are allowed to go back to your box and then go out for another go. So that is what Colin Spork is doing. And this will be his final and most important run. Of course, towards the end of the session, the track's at its grippiest. It's at its fastest, and also it's your last chance to set that lap. Giuseppe Liner's just slipstreamed his way into second position there, 108.122, and that's less than a tenth of a second off Matthew Williams. So Liner gets very close there. Great qualifying performance from him. He may end up accidentally hurting his teammate Michael Francesconi here, actually, if he qualifies ahead of him. But I can imagine he will be helping to try to hold back Colin Spork in the race. Francesconi could do himself a big favour here, though, by jumping ahead of those two in qualifying. So we'll see what he can do. So Williams is on what will be, I think, his final flying lap. It's a pretty quick first sector. Let's watch him as he goes through the middle sector. I think he had a slight twitch going into Pinarino, but that's going to cost him maybe a tenth of a second at max. Probably not even that. Into the final couple of corners. He's just got the uphill straight line sector to go now. No slipstream for Williams. There is a car in the distance, but it's too far away. Francesconi's in the pit, so Francesconi won't be going any higher than fourth. Lino also in the pit, so the two TG racing cars not going for a final run. And Williams improves his time. It's a 108.012. That's very, very quick. What can people do about that? Oh, it was a faster second sector too. Let's watch Colin Spork. His first sector time is just down on Williams's, but only by 100th of a second, so he's still right up there. Tire smoke flying off his wheels as he goes through the Ferradura. And this is important, not just in terms of the race, but in terms of the championship fight as well. He's definitely going to be starting ahead of Francesconi, but where will he be starting? Will it be first, second, or third? Here he comes. There's a car slow through the final corner there. Needs to make sure. It's going to give him a little slipstream here, actually. I'm not sure that's what that driver intended to do it, but Spork will definitely appreciate it. Spork's second sector was great. Here we go across the line. Gets a brilliant slipstream and goes second. So just missed out on pole by less than a tenth of a second. Matthew Williams has pole. Quintana jumps up to fifth. But Spork, importantly, is a row of cars ahead of Michael Francesconi. And that is 1-0 Colin Spork in terms of this championship fight. Now, who's going to improve throughout the rest of the session? Quinte's first sector time that last time around was very, very good. He was fastest of anyone through there. And actually, I think... Oh no, he's not on a lap yet. So I think that is going to be qualifying over as he comes into the pits, indeed. So Matthew Williams is on pole position, followed very, very closely by Colin Spork. It was a close qualifying session, less than a tenth of a second in it, less than 800ths in it. And... the top 6 separated by less than 0.3 of a second. Pretty much the entire pack. The top 22 separated by less than a second. And yeah, that is partly because this is such a short circuit, but still, that is quite something there. So Williams, Spork, Lino, Francesconi, Saracino, Quinte, Mayer, Paolini, Tapper, and Wach is your top 10 order. And I will update you on the full thing when we get to the formation lap, so that we don't get confused by any penalties or whatever. In fact, let me have a quick look for penalties. We do have a 10-slot demolition for Pascal Schmidt. Now, he didn't actually set a time in qualifying anyway, possibly as a result of that. So he will be starting from the back. Joseph Fagg also has a penalty, but he is actually not here today, so he's going to have to serve that next time he does a Superleague Lights race. and Jakub Kalberczyk and Hermas Rees also have penalties. Kalberczyk is here today. Rees isn't. So yeah, a couple of penalty. No wait, that was served last time out. So ignore me about that. I was looking at the Japanese Grand Prix ones. So the only penalty still to be applied is that of Pascal Schmidt, and he'll be starting from the back anyway. So that's that, I suppose. Yeah. An important qualifying and an exciting one too. And now we are preparing for the start of the warm-up session. So what comes next then? If you're unfamiliar with Superleague Lights, we have a 10-minute warm-up session where the drivers just go out and have a little practice. The race stewards, update the order if it needs to be updated, things like that, and then of course they get ready to start the race. Oh, hello. Have we been having streaming issues? I think we may have been. So sorry if we have been. Okay, they're being sorted out, so that's okay. I hope you can all still hear me. But anyway, okay. I do want to say thank you very much actually to my cameraman Gerrit de Vries, who has been with us for this entire season, and of course many other seasons in the past with GPVWC, and has helped out with the cameras and the streaming. And even though we've had a bunch of problems with the streaming software this season, including today, we, you know, Gerrit never gives up, and he brings us these broadcasts, which we very much appreciate. So thank you for that, Gerrit, for the final time this season. But anyway, 27 drivers here actually. So someone else has joined in, and okay. Okay, sorry about that. I think because of the streaming issues and because we're only in warm up, it would probably be wise to go for about a 5-minute break or so, and then we will be back before the start of the formation lap. So don't go anywhere, and yeah, we will be back. Okay, welcome back everyone to GPVWC Superleague Lights, where we are ready to go for the start of the race. The warm-up session is ticking to a close, and I can feel that this is going to be a very, very exciting championship finale. Of course, sadly, the championship fight is already over. Liam Duval won it ages and ages and ages ago, and if you're just tuning in, the main fight is that between Colin Spork and Michael Francesconi, who are dead even on points coming into the final round. And basically, whoever finishes ahead out of the two of them wins the best of the rest trophy, which is effectively being treated as a championship, even though it really isn't one, just because of the dominance of Liam Duval and the fact he hasn't raced in this series for a long time now. Cenobite, of course, have already wrapped up the team's championship as well, so all eyes are now on the fight between Spork and Francesconi to be best of the rest. So Matthew Williams is on pole position. Let's not let the championship fight overlook him and the great job that he is doing. And he will be starting alongside Colin Spork. Everyone is just being reminded of the rules by the race director, who is saying that the drivers with the 10 fastest qualifying laps must start on their qualifying compound. That's important. So we're expecting to see the top 10 cars on soft tyres and everyone else on other tyres of their choosing. They could still choose to start on softs, although a lot of the time you see the cars in 11th place starting on mediums, just take advantage of the alternate compound. So Matthew Williams is on pole, followed by Colin Spork, Giuseppe Lino, Michael Francesconi. Keep your eyes on him. What can he do from fourth on the grid? Giuseppe Saracino will be fifth. Then it's Sandeep Singh, Alessandro Quinte, who I'm sure qualified sixth. So I'm not sure where he's down in seventh now. I think Sandeep Singh may have left the server and then rejoined. Jack Mayer is eighth, followed by Dino Paolini, Dawi Tapa, Tomasz Voch, Pedro Mora, Adrian Faber, Jakub Alalu, Matteo Kiersmakers, Matthias Ranzani, Christian Macharak, Jakob Kalberchuk, Johan Lindberg, Heiko Poom, Manu Klont, George Sutton, Ben Willis, April Carlsvard, Stefan McCready, Pascal Schmidt, and then the final position will be taken up by James Huber. Now I think that's because he wasn't in the server during qualifying, because otherwise he really should be ahead of Schmidt, who has a 10 place grid drop. But anyway, I trust that the race directors have got it right according to the rules. Meanwhile, Stefan McCready will actually be starting from the pit lane, so it looks as if McCready will be the driver getting away last. He was due to start in 25th position, but has not got away on the formation lap. So Matthew Williams leads them around on this formation lap, where they will be warming their tyres, seeing the track for the last time, and then getting into their grid slots before the start of the race. 5 red lights, sorry, come on. I keep saying 6 because in Assetto Corsa it's 6, although this, of course, the R-Vector 2 platform. And then when they go out, we will be underway for 59 laps of the Sao Paulo circuit. It's the most laps that we have of any Super League Lights race this season. And that's because, of course, this is the shortest track on the calendar, meaning that you can do more laps and get the same distance and the same amount of time. But anyway, we're expecting the race to be maybe about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes long, but you know, it can vary sometimes. Up the hill goes Matthew Williams to park in his box. Colin Spork behind him. Didn't expect to do that well in qualifying. He said his race pace was much more competitive, so if that is anything to go by, then Spork could be a real contender for the win today. Who do you think's going to win? Leave your comments in the comments, the live YouTube chat. And I'm afraid I won't be able to see any just yet because I've got to focus on the race start. But we'll be able to come back to them at the end of the race and see who got it right. Spork slightly overshooting his box, but rolls back and it's okay. And then there is an entire row of TG Racing cars behind him, with Lino and Francesconi side by side. I don't expect Lino to hold up Francesconi because he will be trying to help him to the best of the rest crown. Here come the lights. 3, 4, 5. And we are away in Brazil. Matthew Williams up the hill, and Colin Spork doesn't get a good enough start to get alongside him. Lino is coming around the outside, and that's exactly what he meant to do. He's on the inside now, so Spork, drifts out into him a little. They touch wheels, but everything is okay. Oh my goodness, Lino right over the curb on the exit. Almost touches Spork again. They're heading. Oh, and there is more contact, and they just about get away with it somehow. That was so close there to being championship fight over for Colin Spork. Lino is on the inside. Really has less to lose here. Oh dear, my goodness. They so nearly banging wheels around the lap. They do bang wheels heading into the hairpin sequence, and Lino now does get up into second position. So the two second place championship contenders right together on the track. Is everyone cleanly through? Looks as if Johan Lindberg is off the road, and he's become our first retirement. So we've lost Johan Lindberg already, and the driver with the least luck in a GPVWC history has once again lived up to his reputation. Up the hill towards the end of the first lap. DRS, of course, not yet available. That comes into effect on lap 3. Lino will, I expect, try to back Spork into Francesconi potentially. There's a front wing on the track there through turn 1, so someone's going to be in the pits, and it looked to me to be an MDR front wing potentially. No, it's James Zuber's front wing, or George Sutton's, because both of them have pieces of bodywork missing. I think it was James Zuber's that was at turn 1, so obviously there was some kind of kerfuffle there on the first lap. But anyway, they are both into the pits. But should continue, because at Sao Paulo anything can happen, and towards the end of the race they could well still score points. The rest of the field streaming through: Williams, Lino, Spork, Francesconi, Saracino, Singh, Quinte, Tapper, Mayer and Wok at the end of the first lap. Moves going on further down the order. A little bit of a lag spike, can't quite see what's going on at this point in time, and they all ping back into existence, so that is so that's good. I was wondering whether we were having a server crash there, but luckily we haven't. So, back up the hill comes the train, and at the end of the second lap of the race, the gap for the lead, 1.3 seconds. Colin Spork in DRS range of Lino, and DRS will be available this time around, I believe. Let's watch the race. Oh, and further back. Oh, Saracino's had an incident. Saracino has been off at turn 1. Now, I'm afraid I don't have a replay available. I believe that Gerrit does. Oh, and Quinte has just slipstreamed his way past Singh, so Quinte up into 5th position. But yeah, Saracino, he's kept his front wing, but he's dropped well and truly out of the top 10, so that puts Thomas Wok now up into the top 10. I was mentioning tyres just before the race started. Incidentally, Thomas Wok is the highest placed driver on the medium tyres. Everyone in front of him has softs, and the highest placed on the hard tyres is Pedro Mora. So 2 drivers there going for very different strategies, and Mora I think's done that in the past actually, so I'm not too surprised to see that there. Especially considering his grid position, but anyway, so here's the second DRS zone that's going to be available here today. The run up the hill, and the other one, of course, being the one that we saw before between turns 3 and 4. That front wing there still showing up on the track. I'm not sure if the drivers can see it or a solid object, but really, hopefully not. Incidentally, I believe Ben Willis has been into the... Oh no, Ben Willis is missing his front wing. I think he's been into... Oh no, it's back, never mind, it was just taking a while to load in. Looks as if Willis and Ronzani have both been into the pits to repair damage. So some drivers already very badly affected, I'm afraid. But yeah, luckily, I believe I can now see what happened with Saracino. No, I can't. Sorry, I was looking at Tapper. Ignore me. I'm afraid I don't have replays today, but anyway, you will be seeing replays on the YouTube stream. But I should remind you, I don't get the same cameras that you do, so apologies if I miss anything. But thank you again, Mr. Gerrit de Vries. Anyway, Giuseppe Lino is not yet backing up Squawk to the amount that I thought he might be by this point. Williams has actually found his teammate, so Ronzani, who's about to be put a lap down, is right in front of Williams there, giving him the DRS. I'm expecting Williams was saying, "Hey, you know, could you at least stay there?" Oh goodness, that was badly judged though. Williams there had to really duck to avoid Ronzani into the braking zone. And that could have been a little hairy there. But as I was saying, I thought that was going to be, I thought that was predicted maybe. Would have been very, very clumsy if they'd come together there, but luckily they didn't. I got shades and flashbacks of the Ferraris last year in Formula 1 there, but anyway. So, Lino, Spork, Francesconi is the real fight I'm interested in here, because Williams has broken out of the DRS range of Lino, so it's all down to those. Actually, what's Ronzani going to do? Is he going to... I wonder if Ronzani's going to make it difficult for the drivers behind him to overtake. Of course, he does have to get out of the way eventually, because the blue flags will be out when Lino catches up to him. But yeah, I'm sure he might not make it hugely easy, considering that his teammate is leading the race, and he's still there actually. Now he's got slipstream from he's got DRS from his teammate, but anyway. And that battle pack streams through. Quinte and Tapper are right together for 5th and 6th position, with Sandeep Singh just missing breaking into the DRS train of them. We've got a fight going on for 13th and 14th between Lalu and Clont. Clont in the... Oh wow, so we do have a second Cenobite here. I was told there was only going to be one, but it looks like we've had a last minute entry from Menno Clont, who's jumped into the Cenobite car. And he is right behind Jukka-Pekka Lali there. Is Clont the team boss of Cenobite? I really should know that one. I believe that he might be there. No, Edinus, my apologies. Liam Duval is indeed the team owner of the Cenobite team, for which he won the championship. But yeah, anyway. Menno Clont has the DRS actually on Jukka-Pekka Lali, but I think he dropped back a little too much before that straight to actually gain advantage. So that's going on for 13th and 14th position, and that is important actually. Again, sorry to those people who have to hear me say this every single time, but if you're new to GPVWC, the points scoring positions actually going down to P15 rather than P10, as you see in Formula 1, and as a result, they are scrapping over points there, even though you may not be used to that in a Grand Prix setting. But anyway, Tomasz Fock there's just passed Jakub Kalbacek for P... Actually, I think he's trying to hold off Kalbacek there is on the softer tyres, and yeah, indeed, he's coming from behind. This is going to be impacting Kalbacek's race strategically. Tomasz Fock doing a great job on these medium tyres so far. He has a good chance of a strong result today, probably higher up than 9th position. I wonder whether he can maybe get a top 5. I'm not sure quite how important tyres are going to be today, whether this is going to be a 2-stop race, whether it's a 1-stop race. Brazil, I'm not sure that Brazil really is a very high tyre wear circuit. I know that I very much wore my tyres out in first Formula Challenge race last week, but I was not running an ideal setup. These drivers would have absolutely perfected their setups of things like this. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they actually end up doing. And when they end up coming into the pits. Kalbacek there, he was trying to pass Fock, but I think he's made a mistake because he's just been overtaken by Hygo Puma in all of that. And I think we caught it on the street. Oh yes, indeed. He touched the grass going through turn 4, and had a big tank slapper, and through went Hygo Puma into 10th place. So that's pretty good. So he was fighting with the top And actually, I believe that I got something wrong. No, never mind. I was getting confused between Poom and Mora for some weird reason. But anyway, I go Poom up into 10th place now, ahead of Jakub Koberczyk. And Koberczyk's already under pressure from Dino Paolini here, who has DRS from his car. But anyway, those three in a chain for 10th, 11th, and 12th positions now, as Walk gets away despite being on the softer tyres. Lino there, I believe, actually touched the grass that last time through. Now, it's interesting to note that Ronzani is really keeping up with Williams here. I'm not sure he's even getting blue flags yet on Lino's car. But Lino will be a little bit aggrieved by this as another backmarker gets out of the way, because this will be messing up his airflow. And I wouldn't be surprised if Ronzani's broken into the blue flag range a couple of times now. But he's still sticking there, and I'm not sure. Well, I suppose I can only assume that he hasn't yet been given the blue flags, because otherwise he would be risking a penalty at this point in time. But anyway, Giuseppe Lino slipstreaming him and getting the DRS actually, so that's interesting. Not sure that's entirely what Ronzani is intending there, and surely he's going to have to get out of the way soon, because Lino is right up there with him, but I don't see any blue flags. Normally you can see them waving or flashing at the side of the circuit, and I don't see any yet. Oh wait, there was one. I believe I saw one there down into turn 4. Indeed, yes, we do have blue flags out. And Lino, that means he must let Lino through before he passes too many of those flags. There's a flashing blue light there at the side of the track as well, and he's still there. This is interesting. Interesting tactics from the TR Blue Voss team. It kind of looks as if they have their cars in a 1-2 formation, but he's actually just broken free of the blue flags there. Yeah, he doesn't have the flashing blue lights. He goes up the hill, and that's because Lino's dropped back from him a bit. So this is really, really interesting, and this could be dropping. Well, to be honest, Lino probably wouldn't mind dropping back towards Spork a bit, because that would hold him up and put him under pressure from Francesconi. But surely this has got to be getting a little frustrating for Giuseppe Lino here. I'm not sure I've ever seen someone sit in front of a car that's a lap ahead of them for this long before. But Ronzani's still there. And yeah, no blue flags this time. Wow. And now the blue light flashes. Now this is definitely over the 3rd blue flag that he's passed. It's about maybe the 10th or so. And I think that he is breaching the rules here. I have to be careful what I say, because I don't want to sound like I'm stewarding from the commentary box. But anyway, he certainly has a case to answer after this race. So long as Giuseppe Lino reports him. Up the hill they go. Lino will again have the DRS. And he is so close to Ronzani this time. Surely, yeah, now Ronzani's going to have to give way to him, because through goes Lino on the inside, but he's going to split Lino and Spork. Probably would have been wiser to have let them both through at the same time there. And Ronzani's had a big kick of oversteer, so now Spork's going to go through with him. There we go. Spork also has DRS. They're still side by side. Ronzani's got to back out of this one. Oh, that was naughty there from Ronzani, but Francesconi follows him through. And the top 4 and our back marker clear for the time being. But that was quite something there from Ronzani. I don't want to point blame, but yeah, that was quite something. I'm just glad that they're all through. But anyway. So far in this race, only 2 retirements, George Sutton and Johan Lundberg. There are a couple of cars off the lead lap, Stefan McCready, Ben Willis, and Matthias Ronzani, namely. So both the Drake cars having a bad time. I believe at least one of them was a late call-up. I don't know much about that team situation, but anyway. Colin Spork, I believe, has just lost the DRS from Giuseppe Lino. That's interesting. Oh no, he does still have it. He opened the DRS. He has it on the straight, but Francesconi is definitely closer to him now than he is to Lino, And this is what I've been waiting for. A scrap between the two championship protagonists for the Best of the Rest award on track as well. Often you see championship battles carried out, you know, effectively fighting stationary cars, but this time it's on track and they are separated by less than half a tenth of a second. That's what I like to see. This is going to be a great race. It's already been exciting and it is set to get even more exciting here. So 20% of the race complete, 1/5 of the way through. No pit stops yet, but that's not expected this early in the race. And the gaps between, so the gap between the leaders actually hasn't come out that much, despite the Ronzani thing. It's 1.8 seconds still, which is pretty much what it has been for this entire race. 1.7 seconds there, and Spork and Francesconi really sticking with him there. So it may not be an outright scrap for the lead of the race here, but it's definitely tense. The tension is building, and any of these four drivers could win this race here. Now, one thing I'm wondering about, as I've just seen on the stream that you've just witnessed a spin for Ben Willis, yeah, what I was going to say is, I wonder what the strategy is in TG racing. Has Francesconi asked Lino to act as effectively a rear gunner for him in this race, or is Lino just driving his own race and maybe not aware of the championship? I can't believe he wouldn't be aware of the championship fight, but I don't know if they're talking right now. I don't know if he knows if Francesconi or that Francesconi is fourth. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that fight and see what happens. But if I was in that team, I would definitely be saying that Lino at this point should be backing Spork into Francesconi. But of course, Lino doesn't want to give up too much time to Williams because you know, in terms of the team's championship, TG could really benefit from winning this race. And so long as Francesconi finishes ahead of Spork, I'm not sure they matter what positions they finish in. So long as, of course, Francesconi scores points. Francesconi does need to score a point to win the Best of the Rest award here today. Second in the championship, as Matteo Kiesmakers there goes up into the points paying positions ahead of Giuseppe Saracino. That's a move for P15. Oh, and Karl Burchik's just had a spin. So as I was speaking, Karl Burchik has looped it. I didn't see how that happened, but that's cost him 2 places because he was in 12th place and now he is down in 14th, and we're about to see that on the stream. And ooh, got it. Oh no, he was tagged. He was, oh goodness, someone went wildly out of control behind him. I think that may have been Jukka-Pekka Lalu. So someone went wildly out of control and spun him into a spin. Spun him into a spin. That's a Murrayism if ever I've heard one. But anyway, that was an incident between the two of them. Spork there, right up with Lino as they cross that finish line. The gap between the two of them was less than 0.4 of a second. Very, very close. And Francesconi right there too. This is the closest these three have been all race since the very, very start. This is looking fantastic for the two of them. Into the hairpinny section. Not sure if hairpinny is a word, but whatever. So, up the hill for another run go the championship contenders, Spork and Francesconi. Still not close enough for a move. I think if a move's going to happen, actually, it's probably going to be into down into turn 4, because the start-finish straight is where Spork gets close, but not close enough to Lino. So if he can line himself up through the center S, I think turn 4 is probably his best opportunity, but it's a harder corner to overtake at in general than turn 1. It's less of a heavy braking zone, and there's less of a straight before it as well. And it's also a little narrower down there as well, which doesn't really affect things much, but if your opponent's defending hard, it can certainly make things a bit more complicated. So, what will they do this time around? This fight just not changing, is it? Sandeep Singh and Jack Mayer, meanwhile, have caught up to Dawi Tapper and Alessandro Quinte. So 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th is a real point of contention as well. They've been relatively close since the start of the race, but now they are right together. And they're still not too far behind the leaders either. So, we'll see. Oh, and Quinte is in the pits. So Quinte, one of the first stoppers of the day. I was about to say, actually, I wonder when the first stops are going to come in. Now, that is almost definitely a 2-stop strategy from Quinte there. I expect he will go onto mediums, and then he will do another stop on mediums towards the end. He actually goes onto hard, so that's interesting. I don't expect him to do the full race on hard, so is it going to be hard and then a stint on mediums at the end, or another stint on softs? I guess we'll see, but yeah, hard tyres for Alessandro Quinte, and he exits the pits. Down in 18th position, and doesn't have too much traffic, little way behind Pascal Schmidt, so he should be okay with that one. It's a valid alternate strategy, but we'll see how it ends up playing out. Talking of alternate strategy, recently the top driver on hard tyres was Pedro Mora, but he's just retired from the race. Now, why that is, I don't know, but that's a big shame because I was interested to see how that alternate strategy was going to pay off, and unfortunately we will now never get a chance to see, as he is out of the race. Jack Mayer into the pits now, so obviously some drivers going for this this relatively early stop, possible 2-stop strategy, or probable 2-stop strategy. And he too goes onto hard, so maybe not. I don't know. Out of the pits he comes, and he will be out of the points temporarily. I'm interested mainly to see where he comes out in relation to Quinte. Well, Quinte's already gone through. Now, those two were in a similar position on the track, and both of them, of course, MDR cars. So the MDRs not really splitting their strategy here. They've set their mind on one thing, and they're going for that strategy, and determined to make it work. Adrian Faber's just retired from this race as well, so we've lost another one, and that's our 4th retirement in this race. So that's a shame for Adrian Faber. I don't believe he was in the points anyway, but still, you know, big shame for him. And 23 drivers remain in this race. Sandeep Singh into the pits. Now, I'm interested to see if anyone comes in at this point in the race and goes onto mediums rather than hards. Singh doesn't, but it takes a brave person to go for an alternate strategy in reaction to what your opponents are doing. But I wouldn't be surprised to see some people, maybe some drivers who are in the points but like just outside of the top 10 or whatever, making that, or trying to make that strategy work. Spork was even closer to Lino through that last checkpoint than he was a few laps ago. It's so tense between those three. You can't help but feel that something is about to happen. But it's felt like that for laps now, and just nothing has. Christian Malcherex just had a crash meanwhile. He's lost his front wing, and that's at Ferradura. So that's been a fast off there, I'm afraid. And he is struggling to get the car going, and he's out of the race. So that is the end. And Francesconi is going for Spork on the outside into turn 1. This is his first proper attack. Tapper's in the pits. And talking of tapping, oh my goodness, they bang wheels again! The championship contenders very nearly came together there. And Spork keeps it in 3rd position. Somehow, that is fantastic. But here comes Francesconi again, and he's got the inside line. Francesconi to the inside of turn 4. And runs Spork wide. Spork is off the road. Spork keeps control, but he's run all the way off the road. And Francesconi has gone into 3rd position. So that is a change for the championship places. Michael Francesconi is third. Colin Spork is fourth. Now, did Francesconi run Spork off the road? I think he had the line there. I think that Francesconi was far enough ahead of Spork that he had the line for the corner. And it was Spork's choice what he was going to do next. So I think that was a fair move there from Francesconi. He is in third position in this race, and that is vitally important for him because that has changed the direction of this championship fight. Sandeep Singh out the race as well, so these last few laps they've been dropping like flies. And Spork comes into the pit, so Spork trying to undercut Francesconi. Locked his tyres up a little bit there. I hope he got his pit speed limiter on in time. I'm just having a look at what happened to Singh. Oh, he cooked his rear tyres, or spun up his rear tyres. They were cold. He'd just come out the pits, and that is a strong position gone. Of course, he was fighting for 6th or 7th position, and unfortunately, he's going to come away with no points from this one. So that's it for Sandeep Singh. So Spork out of the pits on hard tyres, going for the undercut on Francesconi. That's difficult because Francesconi is still going pretty quickly on those softs, but it's definitely not impossible. Now, what can I wonder if Lino can help Francesconi here. I wouldn't be surprised if they swap positions, but that might not actually be wise, because if Spork comes out between the two of them, then Lino can continue to back Spork into Francesconi like before. So if I was the TG manager, I'd be telling them to maintain position here so long as Francesconi isn't being held up too much. Move there for 16th, Saracino getting up ahead of April Carlsford, and that's not really for position in terms of the rating in this race. 18 of those on the lead lap. I'm expecting a lot more lappery to come in this race due to this being such a short circuit. So it's all down to Francesconi now. He will be trying to fly and keep those lap times up in order to stay ahead of Colin Spork after he comes into the pits. And he could do with some help from Lino here as well. Lino needs to go faster so that Francesconi can go faster and doesn't get held up. That is, unless of course they're both going as fast as they possibly can. Because Lino doesn't have much ground to play with actually, because he's only 1.7 seconds behind Matthew Williams still. The lead gap, really not that much in it. And this championship fight still very, very tense. Matthew Williams into the pits. So as it stands, it is a TG Racing 1-2. Williams coming down the pit lane. And what does our race leader go on to? Is it going to be hards? Or is he going to be the first driver that I've seen to go into mediums? He goes into hards too, so he will... Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to the end from here. So it looks as if one stop is onto hards are doable. And that is what Matthew Williams is doing. Little twitch, he comes out of the pits, but that's okay. Now, does he get clean air? This is important in terms of the fight for the lead. Look at the Cenobite car. That's Colin Spork. So Spork right behind Williams, much closer to him than he was before. I wonder whether the undercut's going to be more effective than we thought. Menno Klont fighting with Jukka-Pekka Laulu right in front of them as well. And we'll need to make sure not to hold up Spork here. Williams trying to come around the outside. Klont's going to hold up both of them. Williams, great move around the outside. He's got the inside now. And Klont, of course, much easier on Spork. That was good driving there from Menno Klont. I like that one. And they've got Jukka-Pekka Laulu right in front of them now as well. So this is the danger of pitting earlier. You do risk coming out in traffic. And now Colin Spork is right up there with Williams. What does this mean for the TG Racing cars? Is this oh, well, Francesconi's in the pits now, so we'll see. So Francesconi onto the hard tyres. Paolini also into the pits. Francesconi exiting the pit lane. Now, where does he come out in relation to Williams and Spork are long gone. Look at that. Williams and Spork long gone as Francesconi exits the pits. He's going to be behind Klont. So Francesconi, by staying out longer, has lost out. And it does mean that his tyres are going to be fresher towards the end of the race. But look at this. He's going to be behind Keersmakers if he's not careful. Well, he's just held off Keersmakers. So Francesconi 7th in the race. Klont is ahead of him. Spork is ahead of him. Williams is ahead of him. That means that Williams versus Spork is now the fight for the lead. Spork is back in second place championship contention. And not just contention, but he is vice champion-elect, I suppose you could say. And well and truly in contention for winning this race as well. Now, if you're Spork in this situation, do you risk jumping ahead of Williams to prevent Francesconi from getting past later on, or do you take it easy and not risk coming together? Lining will walk into the pits. This is the move for the lead then. Williams takes the lead back from Lalu, who's yet to stop. And Lalu separates Spork, so separates the lead pair. So Spork on the exit is surely going to come past him. Lalu isn't required to get out of the way, but surely he will here as they go down into turn 4, because Spork on much fresher tyres does go through into turn 4. So Williams first, Spork second, Lalu temporarily third. Francesconi is still behind Clont. This is costing him a lot of time here. Lino made his pit stop on the last lap. He's come out behind Francesconi. So it looks as if the undercut's really, really effective. And Lino, by staying out even longer, is going to have less of a chance of even helping his teammate here. Francesconi's got to chase down Spork all by himself. So what can Francesconi do about getting past Clont? What can Spork do about getting past Williams? They're both passing a backmarker there, so both of them... Actually, I'm not sure if Williams did get DRS, because I think he passed him before the activation, or before the detection zone. Indeed, that is the case. And at the end of that lap, the gap for the lead, less than half a second. The gap for the lead is well and truly a fight here. Now, Clont is in the pits. Who else is that? I believe that's a lap car. That's Stefan McCready. So Clont goes on to mediums. That's the first time I've seen medium tyres being changed onto today. And we'll keep an eye on his progress to see where he goes. My cameraman saying that's what Lino should be doing. That's interesting. I have to say, I actually agree with that there. But anyway. Colin Spork less than 0.3 of a second behind Williams in that last checkpoint. Now this is the point where he's going to be really held up, struggling to stick with him maybe in the turbulent air. But by how much? Because when they get onto the start-finish straight, Spork will have the DRS again, he'll have the advantage in terms of pace, and he will be reeling him in. Here we go then. I don't think there's going to be a move this time around. I mean, well, with Clont's pit stop, Francesconi is free to chase down Lalu. Lalu's still yet to stop, of course. Because he started on the hard tyres, so he will be out there for a little while longer. Yeah, Spork a little... well, his lap was actually a little slower than Williams's that last time around. But anyway, the battle not over by any means. He just needs to bide his time until he gets another opportunity, until maybe Williams makes a slight mistake or something along those lines. There is actually... I do see a backmarker up ahead. Oh, and it's Ronzani. Oh my goodness. Okay, well this could get interesting. Now Ronzani has unlapped himself, and that will be through the pit stop stages, meaning that these two are going to have to get past him all over again unless he makes a stop. Meanwhile, I should also mention Stefan McCready and Ben Willis are both out of the race, so we have 19 cars remaining, and all of them on the lead lap. Now, what's Ronzani going to do? Is he going to, again, try to play rear gunner to Matthew Williams despite being a lap down? Or is he going to not risk getting a penalty from this and come into the pits or give way easily? We'll keep an eye on that. But anyway, Francesconi now right up with Lalu as well, past the Royal Blue driver, who will be affecting his challenge. He's caught him in a bad part of the track, actually, a twistier section where it's harder to overtake, and he's going to be losing more time through here. Lalu, of course, doesn't want to back off. It's going to be affecting his race if he does, and he won't be getting blue flags. They're on the same lap, so Francesconi will need to do this manually and forcefully, hopefully not too forcefully. Okay, now this is a better part of the track for an overtake. Lally getting a little bit twitchy on those older tyres, that's to be expected. And now as they head up the hill, surely this is Francesconi's chance to get through. Giuseppe Lino right there with them as well. Francesconi with the DRS open is going to move up into third position, and there he goes on the inside. So Francesconi makes it stick. Lino not quite able to follow him through yet. Interestingly, Ronzani has gone into the pits, so that will be a little bit of a relief for Colin Spork. But anyway. So Williams and Spork, the gap less than 9/10 of a second. Francesconi is almost 4 seconds back. Clont and Saracino there fighting for 14th. Whoa, Clont having a big twitch. Keeping it under control. They are fighting for 14th position in this. Howie Tapper right up with Lino now. Now Tapper's stopped, so this is for position here. So Tapper, I think, effectively in 5th position in this race, doing a good job. And he could be a contender for a podium later on at this rate, depending on how the rest of the race goes. Especially if Lalu holds up Lino in this. Interestingly, Spork is now over a second behind Williams. Now let's watch Lino going past Lalu. There he goes. Tapper will be the next person to come through. But yeah, as I was saying, Williams and Spork, the gap is now out to 1.1 seconds. So Spork, I think, taking the safer option, not wanting to attack Williams and risk coming together. That does put him under a little bit of pressure from Francesconi, because although there's 3.2 seconds between them on the road, Francesconi does have a clear track between him and Spork. So if he's faster, he's going to be catching up. So what are they going to do? And how is it going to affect the race? Howie Tapper. This time we want to get past Lally because he's dropping back from Lino. Alessandro Quinte are right there as well. Wouldn't it be fantastic for Quinte if he got a 5th place today, or a top 5 finish immediately after winning the Super Cup Championship? It would show that he is well and truly ready for Super League Lights. I, of course, believe that he is. But that would really prove it. Tapper there did not get past Lally that time around. He's going to be held up by that. And that is costing him much more time than necessary. Here we go, DRS again. Lally himself still has DRS from Lino. And Tapper's still not able to get through. Wow. What can Quinte do about this? I think he's a bit too far back, but if Lally can hold off Tapper through all of this middle sector, this could be really interesting here. Tapper almost going for a dive. He definitely thought about it, but you know, rightfully wasn't committed, because if he was, they may well have ended up coming together and all of that. But anyway, up the hill again. This is where Tapper would have been hoping to get past Lalu a whole lap ago, and this time he's not going to let it get away from him. Here it goes, DRS, and it doesn't matter because Lally comes into the pit. So Lally, who held off Tapper very valiantly there, and maintained his position, has now made his pit stop. And what is he going to? Because he's actually got slight suspension damage, I think. I think his car's hanging a little. Now I wonder if that's maybe from the first lap or something, because I haven't seen an incident since then. But yeah, his steering is definitely slightly bent. That's interesting. But he's gone under mediums. I'm not surprised by that, so that'll be a one stop. And I'm expecting some fairly quick laps from Lally for the remainder of the race. He's going to come out side by side with Menno Clont, pretty much. Clont's going to go to the outside. These two fighting over lower points positions, and Lalu stays ahead. Now I'm expecting Lalu to pull away. No disrespect here to Clont, but Lalu is of course on newer and softer tyres than Clont, and they won't really end up being in the same race here. So Lalu, his main task will be to catch the cars ahead of him, and that will be what he's focusing on now for the rest of the race. So good work from him. What can he do with it? So, where's the next fight going to come from? I'm still interested in the scrap for the lead, even though, well, it's not really a scrap. They are separated by 1.2 seconds, but if Williams makes a mistake, they could be right back to together again. Other points of interest, Tapper and Quinte not too far apart, although again not really locking horns at this point in time. The first real, Keersmaker's and Work very close. That's the first real battle up the order, but of course Keersmaker's yet to stop. He's come right from the back of the grid on harder tyres, and Work has stopped. So this isn't really for position, this is just Work trying to make his strategy work, and Keersmaker's rather fouling it. I'm not saying that he's fouling anyone, because Keersmaker's entitled to that position so long as he can hold it. And the fact that he hasn't stopped yet is, it doesn't really matter. Tomasz Work needs to get past him on the track unless Keersmaker's pits before he can do so. Wouldn't be surprised if Keersmaker's pits this time, or, well, he doesn't pit this time. He'll be pitting soon, I expect, because you can definitely run to the end from here on mediums. Work goes for a dive, and that was a very brave move, actually. He braked later than I've seen anyone else brake into that corner so far in this race, but he made it stick. In the background, Paolini and Poom side by side, with Poom going, well, he's defending from Paolini there, keeping 10th position as the run and the DRS down the straight. And Paolini has to settle for 11th for the time being. Spork now back into DRS range of Matthew Williams. He's been fighting hard to get back into that range again. Now these two, of course, have history in this championship. They came together at Singapore. They had an almost photo finish at Sochi when Spork won his first race, his first GPVWC Superleague Lights race. And then they fought hard at Suzuka as well. So these two tough competitors in this championship. And it's always fantastic to see them having a scrap. Williams probably should have won last time at the Circuit of the Americas when Spork went on to win, but Williams ended up having a disconnection from that one very sadly, as right after he'd taken the lead of the race, ironically. And I think today he's looking for his redemption. Surprisingly, he hasn't got a win yet this season. He's only driven in 5 races. This is his 6th. And he's got 2 podiums. Probably should have won last time out, as I said, but you know, as a result of missing all those rounds, he's not even in the top 10 in the championship. But that's okay. Of course, it's you know, not really a full season attack from Williams. I'm sure that if he does go for one next season, he will be much more competitive. But anyway. Spork once again lost the DRS range from Williams. He's 1.2 seconds back again, so he briefly had it, but he's lost it again. You can't help but feel he's feeling a little hunted here. Francesconi is going faster. 2.2 seconds is the, or 2.4 seconds is the gap. Let's keep an eye on that. It was a couple of tenths of a second further out last time I looked at it, but that was a little while ago. So it's not coming down by a huge amount, but it is definitely coming down. Dino Paolini up into 10th place. He's just overtaken Hygo Poom there into turn 1. Pascal Schmidt pitting, so he's going to be dropping outside of the points with that. Karl Berchek goes into the top 15. And the final points paying position as it stands. And 18 cars still on the lead lap. It's still very close in this race. We're over half of the way through now, 61% to be precise, according to the game. Matthew Williams is still leading by 1.3 seconds from Colin Spork. Michael Francesconi is 3rd place. And it's Giuseppe Lino, Dowie Tapper. Alessandro Quinte has actually been caught up by his teammates a bit here, Jack Mayer, for 6th and 7th position. Don't know whether there's going to be team orders between the pair of them, but they're definitely getting a lot closer. And Jack Mayer is looking for 6th place. Tomasz Voch is 8th. Mateo Kiersmakers is 9th. Paolini, of course, just got past Poom, and he's already started to pull away from him a bit in 10th. Poom is 11th, then it's Jakub Pekalali, Mene Klont, Giuseppe Saracino, and Jakub Kalbacik, the last point-paying positions. The last point-scoring drivers, as or if the race was to finish as it is. What are the TCS off drivers going to? Oh, sorry, not TCS off. I meant MDR. What are the MDR drivers going to do? Quinte hasn't raced in Superleague Lights before. This is his first race, and he, as a result, hasn't picked up many championship points, or any to be precise. Jack Mayer has had some strong results, but he's not fighting for any, high positions in the championship or whatever, and they do swap places, so Jack Mayer does go ahead of Quinte, and will try to accelerate away from him. Quinte, of course, as well as being this year's Super Cup champion, won 2 races in Super Cup last year as well, and this year made his Super League debut, 16th at the Japanese Grand Prix. Not bad for a debut, no points, but yeah, not bad for a first try. Mateo Kiersmakers, meanwhile, has made his pit stop. He's gone into soft tyres, so that's why he was running so long on the hards, because he wanted to run to the end on softs. It's going to be tough to get to the end from here on softs, but I think it's doable. He might even stick in the points-paying positions here, because, yeah, Kalbacik is too far back, so Kiersmakers comes out in 14th place. Not a bad job from him in that stint. And that does elevate Klont to 12, Saracino to 13th, Lali to 11th. I said that in a weird order, but whatever. So the race continues. Matthew Williams lapping a back marker. That was James Huber in the Royal Blue Racing Team car. James Huber, consistent driver, but just doesn't have the pace yet. Gives way to Colin Spork in that. Spork goes through nicely, still running in 2nd place, still keeping up with Williams, even if he's not challenging him on the track per se. The gap visually actually appears to have come down there. I wouldn't be surprised if it's he's in DRS range here. Let's see what he does out of Magulo. So I'm not sure. 1.3 seconds is what it was registered as in the 2nd sector, and indeed, yeah, not quite DRS range. It did look visually closer than before, but that may have been as a result of the accordion effect, and indeed he is still 1.2 seconds back. Michael Francesconi, 1.6 behind Spork, so he's still catching, and at this rate, I can't help but feel that he is going to catch Spork by the end of this race. So we have a real scrap on here for the top 3 in the race, the top, or 2nd and 3rd in the championship. Spork will be feeling hunted. This must be a lot of pressure on his young shoulder. I mean, he's only 15 years old, and this is his first his first season at all of GPVWC, and he's been doing an incredible job. But the much more experienced Michael Francesconi is hounding him hard. Won't want to be beaten by a rookie, and yeah, he's not the kind of guy that you want to see in your mirrors, let's face it. Across the line again. What's the gap going to be between the two of them this time around? 1.7, so it came out slightly on that lap, but anyway, that is expected to happen sometimes. James Huber is in the pits again. Now, I'm interested by that, because he actually only came in a couple of laps ago. And the NDR cars have just swapped back. So Quinte's just gone back ahead of Jack Mayer. That's interesting. Don't know why they swapped before. Maybe it was just to see if Mayer had more pace to show. And then they realised that Quinte was quicker and let him back through. But yeah, you don't often see... Oh yeah, James Huber apparently came into the pits because he had a penalty. That was probably because of pit lane speeding. Yeah, quite a common penalty to get. You need to be careful of that kind of thing. The thing you don't want to do is get a penalty while you're serving the penalty. That's been done before. Pastor Maldonado famously did that at the 2015 Hungarian Grand Prix. And yeah, that's going to be one of the most embarrassing things to do. It can happen sometimes, you know, you're so fired up with yourself that you want to get it exactly right coming into the pits, and you end up overshooting it slightly. Yeah, it's tough, but anyway, James Huber has served his penalty. He's now last of the remaining runners. A lap down. Not a great day for him, but he should still keep going because he only needs a few more retirements before he can start challenging for points again. Colin Spork back within a second of Williams again, so yeah, he does seem to be able to keep up with him. It's just that he can't really stick with him for that long. Interesting. It may just be that Williams made a little mistake. Actually, through the second sector, they were still less than a second apart, so Spork, I think, will get the DRS here. I'm not implying I think there's going to be a move, but, you know, this is going to help him to stay ahead of Francesconi for a little longer. Breaking into turn 1. Find your apex, there it is. Turn 2 is an easier corner to hit, apex-wise. Turn 3, you practically can't miss it. Borg opens the DRS again, getting closer and closer, less than 7/10 of a second in it. But now, they're going to reach the twisty part of the circuit, where he's going to struggle. So, into the hairpins. Williams leaning the car in, doing everything he needs to. Colin Spork a little racier. That's to be expected. He's going for the lead. Doesn't need this lead in terms of the championship, but it's going to help him to get away from Francesconi, providing he doesn't lose too much time fighting Williams. Or come together with him, of course. That would be the worst case scenario. His heart must be beating out his chest here. Didn't have DRS that time around. Just missed out on it. 1 second, 0.02 as they cross the start-finish line. That's how close that was there. Does have DRS for the second zone. There's a separate detection zone. And he was able to get close enough using the slipstream on the front straight. This is very, very interesting indeed. I wonder who has fastest lap. Let me look at the times quickly. James Huber, goodness me. James Huber on that last lap. Fastest of anyone. Wow. That's quite something. And that, of course, is because he's just been in for his penalty, so he's trying to make up time, but that's on the medium tyre rather than the full soft. Yeah, so that is very interesting. Mattia Kiersmaker's so far the quickest driver in the first sector, but he is on soft tyres. Just a good lap from James Huber. I do think that if this race was down to pure pace, he'd definitely be a contender for a top 10, maybe even a top 5, but, you know, there are other things to consider in racing, like not picking up pit speeding penalties. I'm not criticising him. I've done that many a time, I'm afraid. Several times in GPVWC, actually. Cost me a podium in Academy once. And I think Jukka-Pekka Lali's just passed Hago Poom. Yes, that's for 10th position there. So a change inside the top 10. Poom might be coming back at him here. Has the DRS, has the slipstream. Takes a look to the outside. Lalu definitely feeling the pressure. Went defensive. But will get away from Poom on the exit there. We're into the final quarter of the race now. I can't believe this championship is almost over. It's been an exciting one the whole way through. Liam de Vries, of course, dominated it in the early stages, but even so, you know, they were exciting races, and ever since then, it's got even more exciting. My favourite race of the season was probably Russia. That fantastic battle between Spork and Williams. But there are so many others that I enjoyed. Turkey, of course, was legendary. Canada was pretty cool, if I remember correctly. Belgium was exciting. I'm sure that Colin Spork would disagree with me, or agree for a different reason. Same goes for Singapore and Germany, of course. Yeah, just a really, really exciting championship. And this final round has proven to be not much different. Spork and Williams really have been inseparable these last few rounds, haven't they? Ever since Williams joined the fray, he's been right there with Spork, just unable to shake him or sometimes pass him. I'd love to see a proper championship fight between Williams, Spork and Francesconi. That would be fantastic. But sadly, of course, well, first of all, Williams didn't make it. Second of all, Liam de Vries rather spoilt that by winning 10 straight races at the start of the season, quite incredibly. So, down through Curva du Sol again. Spork now well and truly within the DRS range of Williams. He's not dropping outside of it like he was before, and Francesconi is not gaining like he was before either. Despite being on fresher tyres, Francesconi has struggled with tyre wear a bit. We saw that at there was one run in particular where he did, I think Japan, because he won that, never mind. Michael Francesconi probably would have come second in this championship already had he not retired from 3 races in this season. Although Spork doing a great job to only retire in 1. Great consistency from Colin. Even when he's been taken off by other drivers, like at Singapore or Germany, he's always continued and finished the race, which is what I love to see in a young driver, rather than the standard rage quitting and crashing people off, which unfortunately I've seen in the past. Not looking at anyone in particular. But yeah, Colin Spork not like that. He's mature. And a very nice guy too. But I've said that in the past. Matthew Williams also a rather nice guy. He does put himself down a bit though. Williams not always the happiest driver after a race, but even so, you know, can't say anything bad about him. And Spork is still within a second of them. I'm not sure there really is going to be a fight for the lead of this race. Sorry to disappoint anyone, but I think Spork's going to be comfortable with sitting behind Williams here. Of course, he'll want to win the race, sure. And if he gets an opportunity, I'm sure he's going to go for it, but I don't think he'll want to force an opportunity. He knows that Williams has far less to lose. And Colin himself, he has far more to lose, of course, with, you know, second in the championship. You only get this opportunity once to, you know, to come second in a championship in your first season of competition at this level. And this is Spork's chance. And whether he gets it or not, he has put on a fantastic showing this season. But Francesconi, of course, also deserving of a lot of praise. He's driven a great season. 2 wins, 5 other podiums, so 7 podiums in total. Not quite as consistent, but you know, partly due to rotten luck. The rest of the season, he's been so competitive. Sometimes the fastest driver on the track, even when Liam de Vries was here. But yeah, with 15 or with 9 laps to go in this race, Colin Spork is in position to take second away from Francesconi. Matthew Williams not making it easy, still sitting there in the lead. 0.7 of a second the gap through the last checkpoint. But Francesconi not able to take advantage of it. It looked as if he was gaining earlier on. He's just been dropping back since then, and just hasn't been able to contend. Giuseppe Lino in the early stages did a good job of holding back Sport, making sure he couldn't get away from Francesconi and bringing him back into that championship fight. But I think he got his pit strategy wrong a little, I'm afraid to say, by pitting later on those soft tyres and you know, being bitten by the undercut. Just didn't quite get it right, did he? And that's cost him a chance for podium today. I mean, he still has a chance for podium, of course, if something goes wrong to the cars in front of him, but you know, I'm sure he won't wish that on any of them, especially his teammate. Lino's still doing a decent job there. In 4th place. Don't think we've seen much of him this season, actually. I'm not sure if he's done a Superleague Lights race yet. Let me look that up quickly. I think Lino... oh yeah, he has. He's done the last 2, actually. Finished 14th in Japan, and then retired from the US Grand Prix. So this is a big improvement from that, but probably could have got a podium. Jako Kablarczyk now in the pits. This will be his last stop, and I don't expect he's going to score points today if he continues like this, because he's retiring. So there we go. Jakub Kablarczyk, another retirement. We now only have 18 drivers remaining in this race from the 27 who started, with 15 of those being on the lead lap. It's really coming down now, actually. You need to be on the lead lap at this point in time to score points. That may change towards the end of the race if other drivers get lapped as well, but for the time being, those are the drivers we're watching in terms of the fights. But anyway, really, if something was to change, you'd have to say it would be between Williams and Spork, but it's just not changing at this point in time, with Spork happy to sit behind Williams and not fight him as hard as they fought at Russia, or worse, Singapore, because he knows what could happen, especially with a rival as tough as Matthew Williams. Opens DRS again, across the start-finish line. Quick lap, took a couple of tenths out of Williams there in the final sector, locks up slightly into turn 1. That's the difficulty with having turbulent air. Both of them very quick on that last lap, both in the 109s, late 109s. Both personal bests, actually, so they're really going for it here in this fight for the lead. Obviously, both still feeling pressure from each other, even if they're not side by side. They're definitely they feel like they're in a battle, I expect. Also a personal best lap from Alessandro Quinte, but a little slower in the 110s. Not much to go in this race now. We're well and truly in the closing stages. Williams just has a few more laps in order to hold on. And Spork has a few more laps before he follows in his teammates' footsteps and finishes second in the Drivers' Championship. Across the line again they go, Williams and Spork right together. Neither of them equaling their last lap pace, although Williams still very, very quick. Spork losing out a little on that lap, but really not that much. Tomasz Włoch almost in DRS range of Jack Mayer now. That's interesting. Catching the TCS off guys. That could be a scrap that kicks off in the next couple of laps. The last couple of laps, I should say. Because we are on lap 55 out of 59 now. Really not that much time left to go. Touching the grass is work there. That'll cost him a tenth or two, which won't really affect things that much. But it's certainly not ideal. So, Williams, Spork, Francesconi, Lino, Tapper, Quinte, Mayer, and Walk is now within DRS range of Mayer, so we do have a fight for that 7th position there. And Quinte will be in danger if Walk gets past Mayer here. These two close in terms of performance, have been all season. CM Tech guys have been impressive. Second in the championship, I believe. Paolini not having as great a race as usual, but they're still 8th and 9th. Here comes Walk on Mayer. Took a little look. Mayer braked much later. Walk had to settle for 8th. Needs to make a move soon though. We're in the late stages of the race. Lap 56 now out of 59. The time is ticking down seemingly faster than at a lot of other tracks because of just how short a lap here is now. Of course the time's still moving at the same pace, but it feels so fast. You look at the lap counter one lap and it's, you know, lap 50, and then you look seemingly a minute later and it's, you know, lap 59, race over. So yeah, no use sitting around at this point, you've got to go for it. So Mayer, Quinte and Paolini right there. Mayer and Quinte right together. Are they swapping places again? Yes they are. So it looks as if Quinte has been tasked with holding off Tomasz Wach. That's risky. If Wach had been able to follow him through that, that would have been a real backfire for MDR. Are they going to swap again in turn 4? They do. It's really holding them up here. But Quinte had so much of an overspeed that it didn't make sense not to go through that. And Wach will be a little confused by this, potentially. It's like they're putting on a Red Arrows display in front of Tomasz Wach here. More entertainment than racing, but they're still doing a good job in 6th and 7th positions. Lap 58 out of 59. We are right near the end. And here comes Wach. He definitely has a slipstream here. And the DRS goes to the outside of Mayer. He has to take the long way around, heading onto the pit straight, but had so much of an overspeed that he was able to go through. And a slight mistake from Quinte as well. He's gone very wide. Oh, contact! They touch wheels. And back through goes Mayer. That's not the way you want to do it, but it's worked, I guess. And yeah, that was not ideal there. Oh, and they so nearly touch wheels again into turn 4. Mayer gets a little squirrely. Didn't know where to go, whether he was going to get hit from behind by Wach or whether he needed to avoid his teammate. Here we go into Ferradura. This is a psychological battle between Wach and the MDRs. They need teamwork here. They've got to work together. You know, who's going in front? What's going on? You know, otherwise you end up with an after you, sir kind of situation. Up the hill again. Wach didn't get the best of exits, but he will have DRS. They are heading on to the final lap of the race. Matthew Williams is almost home and dry. Still fighting with Colin Spork. Let's watch Wach. This will be one of his last overtaking. Are they going 3 wide? So near. Oh, and Wach's lost it. And he's careered into both of them. And somehow they're all pointing in the right direction. Is he going to make an overtake with that? They touch wheels again. If Wach gets past Quinte here, that'll be one of the strangest overtakes I've ever seen. He's still on the inside into turn 4. And Oh, Quinte still holding on the air. Oh, and of course that was going to happen, I'm afraid so. And around goes Work, and hopefully everyone avoids him, but I have to, oh, no, it was Quinte who went around as well, so Work and Quinte both off. But let's look at this this lead duo who are going to come across the line. Williams is going to win it, but only just over Colin Spork, who will wrap up second in the championship in his first season of GPVWC. Brilliant drive from both of them. The gap at the end, less than half a second again. It's just like Russia, but reversed. And Francesconi has just let Lino through there for third place for the end. So Lino finishes third, Francesconi fourth. Obviously, he didn't. Obviously, he knew that he wasn't going to finish second in the championship. So let Lino through to take third in the order for his troubles. So Francesconi fourth, Tapper fifth, Meyer, Paolini, then Lale, Quinte, Wach recovering after that incident. Poom, Klunt, Keersmakers, Schmidt, and Saracino, the point-scoring drivers. Just outside of the points, Carlsvad, Juba, and Ronzani finish a lap down. Just waiting for Schmidt and Saracino to cross the line just to confirm that that will be the order. But I want to have a quick look back at that incident between Wach and Quinte there. They were side by side all the way through turn 4, and then on the exit just touched. And that was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Around they both went. And Wach actually lost it trying to rejoin it as well. Had to reverse across the track. That's a hairy situation, but got away with it. And they did end up finishing 9th and 10th in the end, with Quinte being ahead of the two. Be a hairy incident to end this race, but you know that was always going to happen. But congratulations to Matthew Williams and Colin Spork. They fought so hard all the way through the day, and they very much deserve that P1 and P2. Colin Spork, second in the championship, is best of the rest behind his teammate. And what a season for Cenobite, utterly dominant. And Liam Duval will be hugely proud of his young teammate and friend Colin Spork, who has done an incredible job. So post-race interviews will be conducted very, very shortly. We'll see who wants to come in. Hopefully we get to talk to Matthew Williams and Colin Spork, the two real winners of the day. Of course, when it comes to championship fights, it's very easy to overlook the driver who actually won the race, Matthew Williams, but you shouldn't, because you know a win's a win, and Williams, that was his only win of the season, that surprisingly, but he did it very, very well indeed, and had to hold off Spork towards the end. Had a lot of pressure, and any mistakes would have seen him losing that race. It was a close one, but Williams held strong. So I want to say very quickly before we get the interviewees, thank you to Gerrit de Vries again for broadcasting this despite the streaming issues we had earlier on, and for providing the cameras and the stream that you're watching now all the way through the day. Thank you as well to GPVWC as a whole for hosting this brilliant championship, and also to all of you for watching it. So we can now talk to our best of the rest championship, unofficial championship winner, Colin Spork. Hello, Colin.
Hello guys.
So Colin, going into today, you told me that you weren't expecting to be very quick, especially in qualifying. Then you went and put it on the front row of the grid and went on to finish second in the championship. How did you do it?
I mean, I pushed as hard as I could. It was a tough day. I really wasn't happy with my pace. Even like 5 minutes before the qualifying, I was just, I don't know, didn't really feel good. But in the end, everything worked, and I'm very happy with it.
So Colin, you are the youngest driver on the grid. You're a rookie. You've come into the season with pretty much no simulator or GPWC experience, and you've just beaten some of the most competitive and experienced drivers on the grid for second in the championship, only beaten by your phenomenal teammate Liam de Vries. I mean, how does it feel, and what's next for young Colin Spork?
Well, I mean, it feels really good. I wasn't expecting this before the season. I mean, the 15-year-old kid without any sim racing experience, putting him into the car, and then finishing second in the championship. So I gotta say, big thanks to Liam and Mano for giving me these opportunities. Yeah, a really big thanks to all of them. I gotta say, how would I call it? I'm really thankful and grateful for all this opportunity I got. I mean, 1.5 years ago, I wasn't even into sim racing, and yeah, they gave me this opportunity and see where I'm at now, signing a contract with Edge Esports.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
you're going to be racing for them tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am.
Fantastic.
So I will be making my Super League debut tomorrow. I'm very happy with that. I'm really looking forward to it. It will be, of course, a tough one. But we'll see what I can do.
Well, absolutely. Congratulations for that. You had to beat Michael Francesconi in a straight fight, and you managed it. So
yeah, it was tough. I gotta say, like in the beginning of the second stint, he was like catching up by about half a second a lap, maybe even more. And I knew that with the hard tires, when you push them too hard, they overheat, and you will just be a sitting duck at the end of the stint. So I just keep my head down, drove my own race, and at the end of the race, I think Matthew did the same. Yeah, at the end we pull away quite a bit. I not really know how he felt in Russia now, finishing like 4/10 behind me. I'm like, I wasn't even able to get close to him in sector 2. Otherwise, I could have maybe overtook him because he was on higher wings, but I just wasn't able to get closer to him. So
Come to think of it, Francesconi actually overtook you at one point. Did you think at that point your chance was over?
No, I didn't. I was just focusing on my own race. I said, okay, no, don't worry. Also to my engineer, Mari Watson, also big thanks to him for like the whole season. He did an amazing job. And he just told me, keep your head down. We can do an undercut, and we'll see what we can do. I just did my own race in the second stint, and it worked. So, yeah.
That's a wonderful attitude. Well, congratulations. Good luck tomorrow, and we'll see you in the future.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for this whole year, and we'll see you next year.
Okay, so that was the incredible Colin Spork. Let's get a team boss in here. How about Josh Downard of NDR Esports? Josh, not the greatest day for your guys, but it's been a solid season, right?
Hello, yeah. Well, it definitely didn't end the way we were planning for. But I think the results today, compared to what we've had the last few races, we'll take it. We're happy with it. Just to have a kind of solid race, we're happy to get back to that. So that was good.
What's the plan for MDR for next year? Anything exciting in the works?
I think plan will probably be the same for every other team. Superleague Lights is to go up to Super League. Whether that will happen, I'm not too sure. We just about couldn't get P4 in the standings due to Matteo getting points today for RSR, but the hope is always Super League. So we'll have to see what happens next year.
Fair enough. Just quickly, talk us through a couple of the incidents that that your drivers got involved in there. You know, what was the first of all, what was the plan in terms of who was going ahead out of the two of them, and why didn't it work out?
We didn't have a plan of who was going to be like the lead driver. Obviously, the drivers. I mean, Alessandro just stepping in for a race. He wasn't really caring about the drivers at all, but also Jack wasn't fighting for anything in the drivers. So it was just purely to get the best result for the team. At the end, it was just we were hoping to get Jackson DRS to help defend from the car behind, and unfortunately, we sort of just messed it up a little bit. and it gave Vuk the chance that he needed to bring the fight to us. And obviously, it didn't end the way we would have liked. We wanted some nice, clean battling, but yeah, overall these things happen, and we still got points out of it, and Vac still got points. So I'd say it's not the end of the world.
Okay, well, congratulations on a solid season, and good luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
Okie dokie. I now want to bring in, if that's okay, Michael Francesconi, who finished 4th in the race today, and very nearly 2nd in the championship, 3rd in the end. Michael, do you hear me?
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hello.
Yes.
So probably not the way you wanted to end your season, but you put up a good fight. You overtook Colin at some point. Talk us through it, and how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm not happy because I try everything to take this second place in the champ. But tonight there isn't the pace. The last lap I don't have the pace of Colin and Williams. They are so fast on the last laps. I think I did the best with this car tonight. And nothing. I try everything to take this second place, but no, 3rd. But anything change. I'm happy for Colin. He did a very good race, good champ. He did a great second part of the champ. Because the first part it is only Liam win the race. And so I want to say thanks to TG Racing, because I think next year I don't race with TG Racing. I want to race in Super League if it's possible. I want to say thanks to Terence for this opportunity in these 2 years, last year and this year.
That's cool. Are you in talks with any Super League teams right now?
No. Not sure. I'm not sure at the moment, but we will see.
Fair enough. Well, good luck with that. It was nice for you to let your teammate Giuseppe Laine through at the end there as well. Was that pre-planned?
No, because when I saw 5 laps to the finish, so I don't have the pace to take Colin and Williams, and Beppe was behind me 1 second about, and he did a very good race. Last race have some lucky and bad qualifying moment. Tonight he did everything good. He deserved it. I'm happy for Beppe finally, because I think he's very good driver. Maybe do some stupid error in qualifying. Tonight did a very good qualifying, and the result you can see very close to me, only 1 second the finish line. So great job, Beppe.
Was the plan for him to help you beat Colin?
What the plan for?
Yeah, did you plan for him to help you beat Colin in terms of like backing him up or overtaking him?
I think it was impossible to take Colin, because when they did 9.8, I understand for me it's finished. I'm dead because I
Fair
was
enough.
completely on the limit all second stint, and Colin was very fast, and we fight hard in the first stint, but on the limit, very on the
Well,
limit. I was inside.
and anyway, you did a wonderful job this season. 2 wins, 7 podiums. That's quite something, and I think that you very much deserve 3rd in the championship, and I hope you're pleased with yourself, because you should be. But anyway, thanks for that, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for this season. Bye.
So that's that for 2020 Super League Lights. Thank you all for tuning in and supporting me or supporting us, GPVWC, all the way through this year. I've been your commentator, Caitlin Penny. I very much enjoyed it. I am hoping that I am going to be back for next season's Super League Lights, and even if I'm not, I will very much still be a part of GPVWC as a commentator. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and I guess I'll see you in 2021.